Hey friends, welcome to Futuristic. Today I am back with another book review where I have summarized not the main points but important takeaways when it comes to personal development and building businesses. In the last video, I received a comment from Lazo Prisia Gamers. So in response to that comment, in this video, we are exploring the book The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F, and in case you're wondering, no, I'm not going to say the word for some reason. So you can listen to this wherever you want and whenever you want. Before starting, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos and follow me on Instagram and Facebook to be the first few followers. Well, that's embarrassing. Anyway, so now let's dive in. In the world we live in today, we are bombarded by messages that tells us that the secret to having a good life is having nicer things, a nicer job, a better car, and a prettier girlfriend. But when does this all end? Because there's always going to be something better, isn't it? As you know, this channel is dedicated to improving ourselves and creating profitable businesses, which are the actual goals that we want to reach, which at first glance seems like once we reach these goals, we are set for life. Either that or we continue to reach for higher and higher. This book tells us the opposite, that we actually don't need anything in order to be happy. In the next few moments, we are going to take a plunge into the subtle art of not giving an F, and it will hopefully give us a deeper understanding of what really matters in our life. So my first key takeaway from this book is more isn't always better. Imagine you're starving and you eat that first slice of pizza. It's delicious, so you decide to eat another one. You keep eating more and more until you're full, and then you reach a point where you don't want to eat another slice anymore. In other words, you gain more pleasure from not eating another slice. In economics, this is called the law of diminishing returns, which says that the more we have of something, the less we enjoy it. And just like that slice of pizza, everything in life works the same exact way. You might be thinking, who wouldn't want money, a nicer car, a larger house? I would. These seem like great goals to aim towards. True, but one thing we tend to forget is that those things aren't free. They come at a price, and that price is time. At a certain point in anything, we will get so much of it that spending more time is a waste, because you could be using it on another things that would result in more happiness. And by the way, everything we do in life is to gain pleasure. If anyone disagrees, I'd be happy to have a debate session down in the comments. In some cases, by stopping what we are doing, we are able to even enhance the enjoyment of that very thing. Let me explain it better. I guess if I were to try to use the example of pizza, by deciding to eat only 6 slices instead of 12, we could use the money we are going to use to buy 12 slices to buy 6 slices of better pizza. We spend our entire lives looking for the perfect spouse when these are the in-depth connection that builds up over time in one relationship. When we make it our life goal to travel to every city in the world, we miss out on the day-to-day activities that are built on community and place to call home. When we spend all our time on the sole purpose of making money, when we are already making more than 100k a year, we miss out on doing everything else that gives our life a meaning. This example is a bit tricky because the better we get at something, we tend to make more and more money. So if money is a byproduct, then it's fine, as long as it's not the main priority. I'm not saying you should have a shit job, drive a broken car, and marry an ugly spouse. In fact, in the beginning, try as many things as you can. Go on a ton of dates and travel to a lot of countries, as long as you understand that at some point the enjoyment you'll get from pursuing more experiences will be overpowered by the enjoyment you will get from the depth of experiencing a few things to the fullest. The second takeaway from this book is stop doing things other people tell you that will make you happier. Just do the things you enjoy. This kind of contradicts the beliefs of famous philosophers like Aristotle, who said a human's ability to reason and contemplate in life is what ultimately makes us happy. In any case, I think Mark, the author of this book, is right. We should stop giving an F about what we are supposed to do to be happy, and instead just do what we enjoy. When it comes to something like choosing a career, a good way of thinking about it, what is the worst thing about a certain job? Something you have to deal with on daily basis. When you're the CEO of a company, you're going to deal with a ton of responsibilities and your phone will be on 24/7. When you're on a customer complaint team, you are going to have to deal with unsatisfied customers yelling at you all day. Uber driver, people puking in your car. You get the point. In other words, I quote, it doesn't matter where you go, there will always be a huge pile of shit waiting for you. Therefore, it's not about finding a job to avoid the shit, but to find the type of shit you're willing to deal with. The third key takeaway from this book is when we learn to give a fewer F's, we are able to give better F's for things that matter more. Doing what I do, I come across a lot of people who are leaders in their industry, people who are very good at what they do. What I noticed is that compared to the average person, these people think bigger or more critical on things that matter, and they give fewer F's for things that don't. I have been creating a website in the past couple of weeks, and that which will feature a bonus written content for this channel. And just the other day, I was trying to position the logo on the top left of every page. I spent a bit over an hour trying to do it, and would have spent another 2 to 3 hours in order to figure it out. But then I remembered what I learned from this book, to give fewer F's for things that aren't important. So I asked myself, is the logo important right now? Well, of course a logo is important, but at that moment my goal was to create a functional site as soon as possible, and when it comes to that objective, having a logo at top of each page isn't as important. So I worked on something else. A few days ago, I restarted posting on my Facebook page. If I didn't give fewer F's for things that weren't important, I'd still probably be working on something unrelated to my objectives, such as adjusting font sizes or something. I saw a video the other day where Arnold Schwarzenegger was giving an inspirational talk on stage. One of the bits of advice he gave was to always have a clear goal on what we want. The same goes for the little tasks you do each and every day. Ask yourself, what do you hope to accomplish? And if you catch that what you're doing isn't important when it comes to reaching the goal, then don't do it. Not giving an F and having a proactive attitude have a lot in common. When you're proactive, you think about the end goal, you walk towards it, and you don't give an F about anything else. So I said F about 28 times today. We learned at least 3 things. The first is that more isn't always better. In fact, it's only better until we reach a certain point. We also learned that sometimes we should ask ourselves what we like to do instead of thinking too much. I guess a real lesson in that is sometimes we take things too seriously, especially when it comes to personal growth. Just take a breather to loosen up and let go of all expectations you have of yourself and just relax. Because after you have achieved your goals, you are going to have more goals, and eventually you will realize that all you really want in life is to gain the satisfaction of knowing that you accomplished something, and what that will do is make you happy. But the reality is, you don't have to wait until that point to be happy. Start being happy now, and remember, we will face challenges everywhere we go. Sometimes it's not so much about trying to get to a point where there are no more challenges anymore, but it's to pick the type of challenge we are willing to deal with. And lastly, we learned that if we start to give fewer F's for things that don't matter as much, we will start to notice what's really important, like our relationships, our health, and we give bigger F's for those things. Do you agree with everything said in this book? Even though it seems to contradict the lessons taught and other personal development books, I think that all the principles make sense, and it's actually one of my favorite books I have read this year. Something I learned over time is that the goal of learning isn't to find a clear answer to get all your life's problem. When we learn newer things, we are going to come across a lot of contradictory advice, and instead of treating it as black and white rules that dictate how we should behave, our job is to simply understand where the author is coming from and then incorporating that piece of knowledge into our understanding. And whenever we come across problems in the future, we look to each new problem unbiasedly and make decisions on a case-by-case basis. This is it for today, guys. I hope you guys got to learn something new. Apply the lessons in your life. I'm 100% sure it would create a difference. If you like the content, then subscribe to my channel. Drop a beautiful like and share this video with your loved ones. Goodbye, stay safe, stay productive, and peace out.